Coming back for some brand new breaking news. MS Now has just learned that FBI Director Kash Patel may be out of a job in the coming months. 3 people with knowledge of the situation say President Trump and his top aides have grown tired of Patel and the unflattering headlines he's been generating recently, including using a government jet to visit his girlfriend and enlisting a SWAT team as her security detail.
Well, Katie, I should say, first of all the qualifiers apply here. With Donald Trump and personnel decisions, you never actually know exactly what's going on. But we are being told that Kash Patel, the FBI director, is on increasingly thin ice. And the president is considering replacing him by the end of the year with Andrew Bailey, the former attorney general of Missouri, who is acting now as co-deputy FBI director, along with Dan Bongino.
Hi, buddies. Adam is here. The unthinkable just happened inside the House Judiciary Committee room. The one man Donald Trump handpicked to lead the FBI, the loyalist who was supposed to be his ultimate protector, the appointee confirmed specifically because he would do whatever the president wanted, just sat down under oath and systematically destroyed the presidency that elevated him.
About 12 hours after President Donald Trump started this new war with Iran, his FBI director, Kash Patel, took to social media to reassure the American public about safety here at home. He said, quote, "Last night I instructed our counterterrorism and intelligence teams to be on high alert and mobilize all assisting security assets needed. While the military handles force protection overseas, the FBI remains at the forefront of deterring attacks here at home."
Kash Patel, Trump's most trusted foot soldier inside the Justice Department, just confirmed the crimes. He confirmed the obstruction. He confirmed the cover-ups. And in doing so, he triggered a chain reaction that has Washington, D.C. in a state of full-blown panic, with an arrest warrant now active and the Capitol locked down amid fears of what comes next.
FBI has just fired at least 7 FBI agents and support staff as a result of their role in the classified documents case. This is involving records Donald Trump kept at his club at Mar-a-Lago. Now, that is according to 3 people familiar with the matter. An FBI spokesperson did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the terminations.
Well, you know, Alicia, I thought we were done with FBI agents being fired en masse, but tonight we got a tip that, and it wasn't that hard to confirm, that multiple agents and some support staff, at least 7 agents, were fired in relationship to their role in the Mar-a-Lago, what's known as the Mar-a-Lago documents case. You'll remember the FBI opened an investigation after determining there was probable cause to believe that Donald Trump had top secret classified records at his club when he was no longer president after he had left the office in January of 2021.
This was supposed to be a routine budget hearing. Boring stuff. Funding allocations, administrative requests, the kind of procedural testimony that puts committee members to sleep. Instead, it turned into the most explosive congressional hearing in decades when Democratic and Republican members alike started asking direct questions about the Epstein files and the mass firing of FBI agents. Patel had options. He could have pleaded the Fifth. He could have asserted executive privilege. He could have stonewalled, deflected, and refused to answer like every other Trump administration official who has sat in that chair. Instead, he answered, directly, specifically, devastatingly. He confirmed that Trump personally issued a directive ordering the FBI to block the release of Epstein-related documents. He confirmed that the directive explicitly cited preventing harm to the president as the justification for suppression. He confirmed that the mass firing of 47 FBI agents was not about performance or personnel issues, but was a targeted purge aimed specifically at agents who had worked on Russia investigations. Let that sink in. The director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, under oath in front of Congress, just testified that the President of the United States ordered him to suppress evidence for personal political protection and to fire investigators as punishment for investigating the president. That is not an accusation. That is not a leak from anonymous sources. That is sworn testimony from the man who received the orders. Trump's reaction was immediate and unhinged. From Mar-a-Lago, where he was reportedly watching the testimony in real time, his Truth Social account exploded with rage. He called Patel a rat, a traitor, a backstabbing liar. He promised Patel would be fired tomorrow. He called him a total disloyal loser. But here is the problem for Trump. He cannot fire Patel tomorrow because there is an active arrest warrant being executed tonight, and every single one of those social media posts is now additional evidence of witness intimidation and obstruction that will be added to the charges. The timing of this testimony, coming just hours after a federal judge signed off on that arrest warrant and amid ongoing seizures of property connected to the investigations, strongly suggests coordination. Patel may have been offered immunity. He may have signed a cooperation agreement. He may have concluded that his own survival requires putting distance between himself and a sinking ship before it goes under completely. Whatever his motivation, the effect is the same. The FBI director just confirmed the crimes in a way that cannot be walked back, cannot be explained away, and cannot be defended against. Outside the Capitol, the situation is spiraling. Reports indicate roughly 75,000 protesters have converged on Washington, with dueling demonstrations on both sides creating an increasingly volatile atmosphere. Capitol Police have implemented lockdown procedures. The city is bracing for potential violence. The parallels to January 6th are impossible to ignore and equally impossible to dismiss as alarmist given the circumstances. The White House attempted damage control in real time, issuing a statement claiming Patel was never authorized to speak about presidential communications and suggesting his testimony was unauthorized. But legally, that does nothing. Executive privilege must be asserted formally through proper channels. You cannot retroactively silence testimony after it has been given with a press release. More importantly, notice what they did not say. They did not say Patel lied. They did not dispute the substance of his testimony. They said he was not authorized to tell the truth. That is an admission wrapped in procedural language. The impeachment implications are catastrophic for Trump. The articles already circulating now have 260 co-sponsors, meaning passage in the House is mathematically certain whenever leadership brings them to the floor. But until today, there was always a question about evidence. Whistleblower accounts and leaked documents can be dismissed. Circumstantial evidence can be explained away. Sworn testimony from the sitting FBI director confirming direct presidential orders to obstruct justice? That is a different category entirely. That is the kind of evidence that convicts people. The 47 fired agents were targeted, Patel confirmed, specifically because of their work on Russia-related investigations. The administration had claimed these were routine personnel moves, performance-based terminations, even citing absurd pretexts like alleged kneeling during the national anthem in photos from years earlier. Patel's testimony strips away those pretenses. These were political purges, punishment for investigating the president, retaliation against law enforcement officers for doing their jobs. That is abuse of power at its most naked and indefensible. The Epstein memo blocking document releases connects directly to the scandal that broke simultaneously today, with files showing Trump's extensive relationship with the convicted sex trafficker. Trump knew those documents were coming. Trump ordered his FBI director to suppress them. The suppression ultimately failed because Congress passed legislation forcing disclosure over White House objections, but the attempt to suppress is itself the crime, and now the FBI director has confirmed the attempt under oath. What we are witnessing is the complete collapse of every defense Trump ever had. His lawyers have testified against him, confirming evidence authenticity. His former associates have flipped and cooperated. His White House counsel has provided testimony. But this is different. This is the sitting FBI director, the man currently running the nation's premier law enforcement agency, the loyalist who was supposed to be the ultimate insurance policy. He just cashed out. Patel's transformation from Trump's fiercest defender to devastating witness against him creates a narrative of betrayal that will dominate coverage for weeks. During his confirmation hearings, he pledged total loyalty. He attacked the Russia investigation as a hoax. He promised to implement Trump's agenda without resistance. Now he is sitting in the witness chair confirming that Trump ordered him to commit what are clearly federal crimes. The reversal is so complete it feels like watching two different people. The 75,000 protesters outside reflect the explosive tension as multiple crises converge. The arrest warrant means Trump could be in custody within hours. The Patel testimony means the evidentiary record is now overwhelming. The impeachment momentum means congressional action is imminent. The property seizures mean the financial infrastructure supporting Trump's operations is being dismantled. Everything is happening simultaneously, and Washington is struggling to maintain order. The Capitol Police lockdown procedures indicate genuine concern about violence. Law enforcement is stretched thin, with officers working double shifts and reinforcements being brought in from surrounding jurisdictions. The memories of January 6th are fresh enough that no one wants to be caught unprepared again. But the scale of mobilization on both sides suggests this could be even bigger than the last insurrection attempt. Trump's social media meltdown calling Patel a rat mirrors his attacks on Michael Cohen and every other former associate who told the truth under oath. The pattern is always the same. Demand total loyalty. Receive total loyalty until the moment loyalty means committing crimes or facing prison. Then watch as people choose self-preservation over sacrificial devotion. Then scream betrayal when they tell the truth. The attacks do nothing to refute the testimony. They just reveal Trump's consciousness of guilt and his utter inability to accept responsibility for the consequences of his own actions. The White House disavowal claiming Patel lacked authorization to speak is legally meaningless but politically telling. If Patel had lied, they would say he lied. If his testimony was inaccurate, they would point out the inaccuracies. Instead, they argue about procedure, about authorization, about whether he should have spoken at all. That is what guilty people do when confronted with truth they cannot dispute. They attack the messenger's right to speak rather than the message's accuracy. Let me break down why this testimony is so devastating in concrete terms. Obstruction of justice requires showing that someone acted corruptly to impede an official proceeding. Trump ordering the FBI director to block document releases is as direct as obstruction gets. Abuse of power requires showing that a president used his authority for personal benefit rather than public good. Firing FBI agents as punishment for investigating the president is textbook abuse, and now both are confirmed by the man who received the orders. The impeachment articles already have 260 co-sponsors. That includes Republicans who have concluded Trump must be removed. The Patel testimony gives every wavering member exactly what they claimed they needed. First-hand sworn confirmation from a credible witness with no apparent motivation to lie. The evidentiary foundation is now complete. The political cover for voting to impeach and convict is now available. There is no remaining argument that the evidence is insufficient or speculative. The arrest warrant connection matters because Patel's testimony strengthens the criminal case enormously. The warrant was based on probable cause, but probable cause is a lower standard than proof beyond reasonable doubt. Patel's sworn testimony moves the evidence significantly closer to trial-ready proof. If prosecutors can put Patel on the stand to repeat what he told Congress, the case against Trump becomes nearly unassailable. The cabinet discussions about the 25th Amendment now have new urgency. Members who were hesitant, who worried about appearing disloyal or triggering political backlash, now have cover. The FBI director's testimony demonstrates that even Trump's most loyal appointees recognize he must be removed. Cabinet members can point to Patel's sworn words as justification for invoking removal procedures without appearing to act solely on partisan motivation. The psychological impact on Trump is visible in real time through his increasingly unhinged social media posts. The man who demanded total loyalty is receiving total betrayal. The man who attacked rats is being ratted out by his own FBI director. The man who claimed to be winning is losing everything: freedom, power, money, allies, legacy, all collapsing simultaneously while he watches helplessly from Mar-a-Lago. For Patel personally, this testimony represents a permanent break. He has made himself a witness for the prosecution. He has confirmed crimes under oath. He has chosen his own survival over loyalty to a president who would have demanded he go to prison rather than testify truthfully. Whatever happens next, Patel has permanently sided against Trump. There is no reconciliation possible after this. The bridge is burned and salted. The protesters outside continue to clash as darkness falls over Washington. The lockdown remains in effect. The arrest operation is reportedly underway. The impeachment articles are being prepared for floor action. The cabinet discussions are moving toward resolution. Everything is converging on the same outcome: Trump's removal from power. Keep watching because what happens in the next few hours will determine the course of American history. The marshals are moving. The testimony is on the record. The votes are being counted. The panic in Washington is real and justified. This is the endgame. Everyone has turned, the arrest is imminent, and you absolutely cannot afford to miss what happens next.